Hi, my name is Catrina. Kyla and I go way back to UCSD. We met in the laundry room. And now I am teaching in public school systems. I'm a kindergarten teacher and I have two children, ages 6 and 10. And so I'm thinking and reflecting on what would be important, what I would like to tell my 20-something-year-old self as someone who wanted to start a family and be a professional. I think this is a critical piece of information for people to have early on so that they can begin planning their journey. So I've been a mother now for 10 years, and the most difficult part of that, especially a working mother, has been figuring out childcare. I think childcare is something that we need to digest, endures far longer than diapers and car seats and all of the other things that we think about when we're starting a family. My daughter is ready to start middle school, and childcare is still something that I have to think about every single day. And a couple of years ago, after I'd been a mother for a while, I came upon some information that described that we had a childcare system that was supported by the government during World War II, when we were trying to get women to work outside of the home, when it was advantageous for our country to have women working outside the home. It was an excellent childcare system that contained sick and well wards so that women could go to work despite having a sick child. There was assistance with grocery shopping, and hot meals were provided, vaccinations were given, there were well-qualified teachers and nurses on staff. And unfortunately, this is sort of a dark little secret, once women needed to go back into the home, funding for these childcare systems sort of collapsed and continued to collapse. And now, unfortunately, families, and particularly women, are sort of stuck on their own trying to figure out maternity leave, childcare, and their own careers. And so I'm sort of sharing my journey or my personal experience. I'm a teacher in the public school system, so I have wonderful benefits, and I have sick leave, and I have a very supportive husband, but I still have to juggle my work schedule, my kids' work schedule. I had to figure out maternity leave when I had each of my two children. And something that Kyla and I were talking about is that I was able to take some time off with each of my children. Unfortunately, in order to do that, I had to completely drain my sick leave. And even now, it's taking me a very long time to get those days back, because I had to drain it with each of my children. I had to take an unpaid year off for my son because I wanted time with him, but in the United States, that was an unpaid year. And the only way I was able to do that is my husband, who's also a teacher, had excellent benefits, and that's the only way I was able to take a year off from work. So now my youngest is 6 years old. I finally have a respectable sick leave bank, whereas my husband has years worth of sick leave because it falls clearly disproportionately on the mom, because they're the ones that need to stay home and care for babies and heal from childbirth. And so I've had wonderful advantage of having an on-site child care program for my kids now that they're at school, and they have grants that provide dinner. And so that's definitely a step in the right direction. And I really hope that we can continue to lobby for government support for childcare for everyone, not just for people who could afford it, and really try to unite with some of those programs, those online meal prep kits that are delivered to families. I think it would be really wonderful if they partnered with childcare centers so that parents could pick up their kids and also pick up a meal for themselves. It's wonderful that my children are fed at childcare, and that's definitely a step in the right direction. But I think it would be a wonderful investment for our own health if we were able to pick up a meal for ourselves so that we could spend quality time with our kids instead of worrying about meal prep. We could still have healthy food in our bodies. And so this is something I'm continuing to struggle with, and I really want to work with my community to try to support working families so that kids receive quality care, quality nutrition, and quality time with their parents. And so if you are considering starting a family, start looking to see what kind of support your community has, what you could do to get government support for childcare. And even though baby books are wonderful and they tell you about all of these really fun things in the first few years of parenthood, please realize that childcare is probably the most enduring dilemma that is going to face you as a parent, whether you work inside or outside of the home, and plan for it accordingly.